Welcome to the Software Generation Training Snippet Series. Today's snippet will be on Sage Pro 7.7 What's New series. We'll be going over the new changes in 7.7 overview and technical presentation. I want to thank Jennifer Schwartz and Tom Bucci of Sage Software for their assistance in preparing this presentation. I am Steve Moore and I will be your host today. Okay, first, Sage has been extremely busy fixing things. They've made over 140 different changes and fixes to the system that are listed in a document that is available. Includes performance improvements, bug fixes. The document is available at www.softwaregeneration.net. Sage Pro ERP 77 new HTML. They put in new features. These new features are primarily covered in the other videos in this series. There are performance improvements, things like screen responsiveness, performance operations, and posting operations have been improved where we've found the need to make things go faster. There are some ease of use enhancements where it copies information it didn't previously copy to make it a little bit easier. There are cosmetic corrections to the interface and reports, spelling errors, things that didn't display quite right, things like that. And of course, correction of anomalies, or as we refer to them, bugs. Okay, there's no significant change in the requirements from version Pro 7.6 or 2010. If you are running a recent version, you shouldn't see any significant changes in the requirements. And there is a requirements document. It covers the system requirements for the workstations, the file servers, and for the SQL database server if you are running on the SQL platform. I would like to add my own personal recommendation that you also include a 1 gigabit network here if you are running on a local area network. On a 100 megabit or network, you will find the responsiveness of the screens and things is somewhat sluggish as it attempts to transfer large amounts of data across the system. So a 1 gigabyte network is strongly recommended. Application dependencies are documented in this combined system requirements document. It shows you that if you were to buy the work order module, you would have to have the production entry module installed too. Things like that, which modules depend on other modules. Similar chart for the non-core modules, such as Message Master, Payroll Direct Deposit. Obviously, to run Payroll Direct Deposit, you must have payroll installed. It explains that. A list of the compatible operating systems. It goes through and tells you which operating systems are actually supported, like 2000 servers no longer supported. It was not tested with this version, so we can't guarantee it would work, and which workstation operating systems have actually been tested. Notice that the 64-bit operating systems are in fact supported, and it runs fine on those, with some exceptions we'll go over. Okay, the Sage Pro Compatibility Integrated Programs chart shows you that we do operate with Sage CRM 7.0, and we do have some interfaces to some other Sage programs available. It tells you which ones work and which ones don't, which release is required. This talks about some of the products that Sage had previously available and are now no longer supported in either by Sage or in 7.7. For instance, eBridge Software does have a Sage ACPAC EDI Exchange version available. It's just not a Sage product anymore. It's now an eBridge Soft product. Similarly, the warehouse management system is now sold by Excelos. It does integrate, it works fine, but it's no longer carried by Sage. So some changes there. Okay. So that requirement document with all the requirements consolidated is available on our webpage. You can find it at www.softwaregeneration.net. Sage Pro 2011 page, not the new page. It includes all that information, the application dependency charts. The new technical requirements do include support for a list of the server operating systems supported. The SQL database is supported, the workstation operating system supported, and the Sage integrated program chart. Notice that we have provided a new 64-bit IMUNI PDF creator capability for 64-bit workstations. It was one of the things that did not work on 64-bit. Okay, some other changes. Support for SQL 2008 and 2008 R2 is now built into the product. It is an install image level support. On the previous version of 2010, you had to go get a new install image because it didn't exist at the time that the SQL Server 2008 did not exist at the time that it shipped the R2 version. And so to support the R2 version, they had to create a separate image for installation. It's now included in the native image that shipped with the product on 2011. We have the new 64-bit IMUNI PDF creator capability. and it is compatible with 64-bit systems. We do support Office 2010. You can run it in 64-bit if you're using it the email or message master MAPI interface. Then you will need to run this in 32-bit so that Outlook will talk to the message master 32-bit interface. They make say Microsoft made a lot of changes in the email interface from 32-bit to 64-bit, and it is not supported. Finally, we support Sage CRM in this release 7.0. Some new things. We do have a new utility to update the dashboard ID and configuration. One of the problems is you could not easily move Sage Pro from one server to another. It actually required a reinstall to do this because you had to update the dashboard configuration. You now have a new utility and system manager to update the dashboard configuration, and allows easy transfer of the Sage Pro install to another server. Again, previously to this, you had to run a reinstall of the system. Okay, ignore the database version. They have added the capability of using a DSN connector to connect to SQL Server. Okay, so what this means is you can use or create, you can either create, like you did before, a new connection, or you can select an existing ODBC connection to a SQL Server and use it to connect. So you don't have to create a new connection. The select will display the existing ODBC connections, and you can then use those to connect. There is more documentation available on this interface in the installation guide. Okay, so if you choose to select an already existing connection to use for ODBC, then there's no need to log into the server because the ODBC connection will be logged into the server. So there's no reason to log in or select a server type. It is theoretically not version specific. Now what this means is in the prior versions, you would have to actually go in and tell it which version of SQL you were going to be running on, and it would lock it into that SQL version. Now, theoretically, you could simply go in and hook up a new server, move the data to it, and create a new DSN here, and it would then talk to the server. So it would not be version specific. You could create a DSN for version 2008, and then later on do another DSN for SQL Server 2012 and simply connect it. So it allows an easy move to another server and you don't have to do a complete reinstall like you did in the past. Okay. There's a bunch of improvements to the credit card integration in Sage Pro. The improved productivity is also built into the system by using the new and improved PADS, which is Payment Application Data Security Standard compliant credit card module. It now integrates directly with Sage Payment Services or Sage Exchange. It is PADS compliant. You do have the ability in this version to void a pre-authorization. So you can actually go in, and if you have pre-authorized a purchase from an individual and you save the pre-auth, it will then impact his credit limit on his credit card because that is counted against his credit limit. And if you need to void that pre-auth to free up his credit, you can go in and void the pre-authorization and get rid of it. And we've also automated the customer address function so you can pull a customer address more easily into the system. So that's some of the credit card things. The other thing that was added late in the 2010 series is a support for a credit card swiper. So if you have an application, you can physically have the credit card in your hand and swipe it. There is support for that built into the system now. Okay, that pretty much covers a technical and overview of Sage Pro ERP 7.7 What's New series. The other videos in this series include accounts receivable and sales orders, the accounts payable purchase order What's New video, and the miscellaneous changes like system-wide changes, inventory changes, manufacturing and other changes video. And those are the other videos in this series. I want to thank you for attending today and have a nice day.